Welcome to this video on networking and interviewing hints for EP. We found that networking and interviewing is very important for success in EP. Unfortunately, a lot of some EP students believe that people don't want to talk to them and people don't want to network with them. They find it very stressful, and we need to change that mindset. In front of you is Ben Franklin. You probably know he's an American statesman. He's on the $100 bill in the U.S. And when he was younger, he was a state assemblyman, and he wanted to gain the favor of another assemblyman who all he knew about him was that he was into birds, and he held a very rare book on birds. And he sent him a note saying, "Can I borrow your book?" And so he did receive the book. He held it for a week, and then he sent back a note from the fellow saying, thanks so much for lending me this book. And then, as Ben Franklin writes in his autobiography, when we next met in the house, he spoke to me, which he had never done before, and with great civility. And ever after, he manifested a readiness to serve me on all occasions, so that we became great friends, and our friendship continued to his death. This Ben Franklin effect shows that when someone does you a favor, they're more likely to do additional favors to you. So when you ask someone's advice, or you go interview a business person, and then someone, if you ask them for more advice later on, they're more likely to help you out. Or if someone comes to them and says, "Hey, do you know of a young person who needs a job?" Guess who they're going to think about. Fact is, it's been proven in studies, it's good to be good. We get a helper's high. Altruism is linked to happiness. Altruism is helping other people out. And you gotta realize that most business people remember starting out when they were young, and someone did help them out. And there's a lot of goodwill out there towards young business students. You're not green-eyed rebel anarchists. You're business students. And when you go ask about what they think, you validate their experience and their expertise, and you make them feel good. So when you go out networking, realize you're making people feel good. The caveat or the exception, make sure you don't ask for too much. As long as the help is not a burden and you're stressing them out, they'll love to help and you make them feel good. The fact is, people love to talk about themselves, and it makes them feel great. So let's think about your network. And I hope you guys know about mind maps. And the assumption is that we put you right in the middle. You see this one in the bottom corner here, and you're going to build out from there. And we're going to talk about the 4S. Friends. Friends is old and new friends. Their bosses, your workmates, all the people you know in your life. And then your family. That's an obvious one. But take it a little step further. Your friends, your family. So this is your aunt's good friend who runs a factory. And then we're also talking about the family of your friends. So your best buddy's uncle who runs the factory. And so you start it yourself in the middle, and your tight, strong ties, and then we start with the weaker ties out there and farther out. And actually, there's a good thesis that says you're more likely to get help and good networking from these weaker ties in life. And those people who know you somewhat, then you're really close friends, because those weaker ties know a lot more people. The people in your inner circle, you probably know them anyways. So the presumption is when you go to set up an interview that you have the person's name, phone number, and email. And that's just a given. If you can't check it online or make a phone call, you're in trouble. Generally, it's not always this way, but one good rule to go through is email the person you want to interview a day ahead of time. State the reason why you want to talk to them, how long it's going to take, and what you're going to talk about. And say you're going to follow up the next day with a phone call. Then actually phone them up and talk to her and say, "Can we meet on this date?" And if they don't get back to you, was that voice message sitting there, phone them the next day, and they're going to feel guilty about not getting back to you, and they'll want to talk to you. It's important you communicate honestly what this interview is for. You're a college business student and you're doing a business plan, and there's nothing wrong with that. Before you get there, think about dressing appropriately. Think about the workplace you're going to. If you're going to Portage Main office tower, probably suit and tie. If you're going out to a rough and tumble factory, probably suit and tie is going to make you feel uncomfortable. Important is to make you feel that you feel comfortable and you're confident. If you don't feel confident in a suit and tie, well, maybe dress it down a bit. But I guarantee you, you won't feel confident walking in with sneakers and a t-shirt into a business conference. Before you get there, do a little preparation. Research online. Get to know the company. Get to know the industry. Get to know the jargon of that industry. Jargon means the words particular to that industry that you use so that you know what you're talking about. So you come across as professional. Your list of questions should come from your hypotheses or your presumptions from your business model canvas that you sketched out. So for each of those 9 boxes, you should have hypotheses, and for each of those hypotheses, it's a question you're going to ask this person. And when you get to your interview, make a connection right away. Build rapport. It's called small talk. Make them feel comfortable. They love talking about themselves. Ask them about themselves. You should have your whole group there, but if you can't, at least make sure you have 2 people there. Have one person asking questions, and the other one takes notes. You have one person giving eye-to-eye contact, the other person is taking notes continuously. If you're going to record the conversation, you need to ask permission beforehand. Start by presenting your hypotheses from your business model canvas. We think our target market is this, and we think we're going to reach them through this business channel. And then you ask open-ended questions. What do you think? Do you think this will work? And then just listen. Things you don't want to do. Don't ask questions that will embarrass them or they don't want to make public. How much did you make last year? What was your revenue last year? Generally, you don't want to ask those kind of questions. You can get around a little bit for, let's say, the company revenue. What kind of revenue or sales you expect? You could make some projections and ask if we think we're going to sell it for this amount and this going to have this many customers and we're going to revenue for this amount. Do you think that's correct? That's one way to get around it. And don't expect the person you're talking to write your business plan for you. They know you're a business student. They're not going to do everything for you, and they need you to do the hustle, not them. For interviews. And the very most important question you have to ask is, who else should we be talking to? Even if you had a great interview, who else should we be talking about this idea is the best question you need to ask. If you don't ask it, you should be shot. Keep to your agreed timeline unless the interview extends. If you've been if you've shown up and acted professionally and you've been charming, they always are going to extend the interview, give you a lot of time. And I've seen so many EP groups come back saying that was the best interview and went for a long time when we totally changed what we're doing and wow, it feels great. And you need to be able to send a thank you note within 24 hours, and an email is appropriate. That's why you should have their business card. Usually business cards are actually passed out at the start of the interview. You might have heard of LinkedIn. You should consider sending them a LinkedIn invite. That's what LinkedIn's all about. From an analysis standpoint, make sure any group members who aren't at the interview, tell them the whole story. What did you learn? If you don't tell them that, they're out of the loop, and I won't go into it now, but that's very important. You let the rest of the group what you learned. Don't assume everything said that interview that you're told is correct. They might have some inaccuracies. Look for similarities amongst the people you respond to. But most importantly, and this goes back to lean startup. Look for that one hidden gem, that one aha moment where someone says, go try do this. Bing! You got a business idea that's going to take you a long way.